See if this works. I don't know if my signal's good enough. No one's getting notifications. There we go. Provost, you're the first one. How about that? How about that? How about that? We are parked. And I want to talk about the thumbnail. Alrighty. Put our glasses on. Alright, let's read the comments here. We have Provo, Salty Pirate, Gary, Big Rich, Daniel Adami, Scott, SRO, CPAP Trucker, Salty Pirate, Bobby Kohler, and Jonathan Wheeler, Nick Bashirs, Harold, what's up? Life Like I, how's it going, you guys? Taz, Next Gen. So check it out, man. Check out this parking lot. That is a whole row of trucking right there. Trucks right there. Lack of trucks. See all the spots? This is the smaller Loves. There's a guy there. Straight back everywhere you go. Easy money. Yep. Tex Crowley, how's it going? Speaking of Tex Crowley, man, I need to give you a wrench. Got to hang out with him yesterday. Truck Review channel? Yeah, it's empty out here. In the past, as an owner-operator and as a company driver, I tried to take the week between Christmas and New Year's. And mainly because, you know, we had little kids at home, and it's easier to deal with all the post-Christmas activities and pre-Christmas activities if there's a little bit of time in between to kind of help recoup, right? But the years that I have been out on the road, January 1st is always the best day of trucking. And so far, it's been the best day of trucking this year. I started in Hillsboro, Texas, and made it all the way to in the Boot Heel here in Missouri, 630 miles with 50 minutes to spare. I breezed through Dallas like it was a ghost town. It's kind of freaky. And I loved it. Loved it. Traffic got a little heavy as I got in the Boot Heel. I think is Mizzou playing tonight? I don't keep up on college ball. But they all had those tigers in the trunks or whatever, you know? But for the most part, today is my favorite day of trucking because there's nobody out here. Nada. Nothing. I was at the Hillsboro Petro there that used to be the Willie Nelson truck stop. There was like maybe 10 trucks in there last night. I got there at like 6 o'clock. It's awesome. All right, let's look at the comments here. Yep, it's like that everywhere, says Scott. Same way where I'm at in Texas. Good deal. Logic Neo, what's up? 2019 might be the disappearance of some owner ops, says CPAP. It's empty at the truck stop at 2. Weird. Life Like I. Have you lost more weight? Your face looks a lot thinner. Deborah, I don't know where I'm at. I know I'm around the 300 mark, but I don't know officially. The last 2 truck stop scales should be kind of heavier than I've been at home, but I think it's because I'm wearing a jacket, shoes, and all that stuff. Thomas Wilson, what's up? Essential Dispatch has loads going for 223 a mile. Says Logic Neo. Yeah, Dallas was awesome, man. I loved it. I was like, I mean, granted, I didn't have to go through the middle. I just went up 20 up to 635 to 30, but still. Happy New Year, Kevin. What's up? Jody Scott, I'm in Iowa and there was hardly any traffic. Pissed off, I'm a reefer magnet. Provost. Provost, you'd hate to park next to me because my carrier APU is just as loud as a reefer, I bet. We wouldn't be able to hang out. But, so anyways, today was the first day of trucking for 2019. It was a good one, 630 miles. And it was a breeze. And I had to jerry rig a front cover for the grill because my thermostat is not doing well, so I got to get that replaced. If you wanted to wash your truck today at a Blue Beacon, it wasn't going to happen. And my trailer and truck are in desperate need of a bath. So I don't know when it's going to happen. I've got mud. Okay, so let's talk about the delivery I did yesterday. So Tex Crowley, being a good friend of mine, he scouted out this place where I was going because I was delivering in his hometown. Sent me some pictures, and I knew it wasn't going to be easy. It was easier than I thought, but they moved a bunch of stuff around, took a lot of their trucks out of the way. And it was a sign company, right? So I pulled in, pulled up straight. They unloaded me. This place doesn't have a dock, and there was probably about that much deep of mud, right? And so whenever you go to a place that doesn't have a portable ramp, doesn't have a dock, what they do is they get the pallets that they can reach with the forklift from the ground, and then they use a chain and drag the pallets that they can't reach to the end of the trailer. Now, what happens to chains when they lose their slack if you're pulling them out of the trailer? They fall in the mud. There was also two guys hooking up the chains in said trailer to the pallets. So I had nothing but mud all tracked up and down that trailer. And I was anxious to book a load because I didn't want to sit all weekend. As much as I like hanging out with Tex Crowley, I don't think he wanted to hang out with me for 3 days, you know, over New Year's. So I drove like 4 miles to there's like a little Shell station, and I evaluated the damage, and my truck was trash. And I just cleaned out the mud in here. It was bad. Drive in, watch out. I thought that was what I was going to do. That was, if I couldn't have found a load, I was probably going to go to the nearest Blue Beacon, get it washed out, and book something for Wednesday. But luckily, we didn't have to do that. I called a broker on this load. It says, yeah, it's lawn items. I'm like, so I don't need a food grade trailer. Like, nope. Sweet. So I went to Waco, picked it up, and headed on down the road. My Georgia Bulldog's about to whoop on some Texas Longhorns. Yes, I do, Salty Pirate. You drive like 70 miles or so and been sitting all day, so Jonathan Wheeler. Let's see. They need to make, okay. Drive in, wash out. Yeah, I already read that. I think it's going to be some Longhorn tails tucked headed back to Texas. Usually it takes forever to get unloaded doing it that way. Now, these were extra long pallets, so it didn't take up as much room in the trailer. I mean, it took up more room, so it wasn't like they were doing 20 pallets that way. But it only took an hour once they started. It took another hour before they started because they had to move all their trucks. They had to move all the stuff out of the way so I can get in and get out. Jason Perry, what's up? Hello, nothing witty. Go Georgia Bulldogs. So I guess there's some college games tonight. And I know Mizzou's got to be one of them because, like I said, I saw a bunch of them cars with the tiger tails attached to the trunk going down the road. And that's the Mizzou Tigers, I guess. Are they playing tonight? I don't keep up with college football. I barely keep up with NFL. So we have our traditional New Year's Day meal, which consists of some kind of pork item, cabbage, and black-eyed peas. I got that cooking in the oven. That'll be dinner, and we'll get up at 5 tomorrow, make our delivery, which I haven't looked at the reviews on Google to see if this place is going to be a nightmare or not. And hopefully book something for tomorrow. They played yesterday in Shreveport. Oh, that would explain why everybody's coming back. I bet you that's what it was. How do you get to Shreveport from Missouri? Take 55 south. Okay. Well, thanks for the information, Harold. No wonder everybody was going north. That makes sense. Soul food, yeah. So, anyways, I thought I'd say a quick hello to 2019. Everybody that wished me Happy New Year, thank you for that. And drove by Daniel Adami today. We had some good discussions on Zello today. And weather was nice, except for the wind and cold. I take it back, weather wasn't that nice. That's it. I'm 5 miles from the customer. Can't get any better than that. ESPN. So I guess collard greens, black-eyed peas, meatloaf, rutabagas, stewed tomatoes, unsweetened tea. Harold's in Arizona. Harold has had a hell of a week. He won't tell you much about it, but he has had a hell of a week. And I feel for him. That's it. I think this is going to be a short live feed because I really don't have much to say. Week of the 7th looks bleak on the low boards. Provost Motorsports. Well, that sucks. But it is January. Now, I'm not quite at a year with Like Trucking yet. So I was not on the spot market between January 1st and February 26th, I think was my first day. Yeah. And it wasn't too bad in February, late February. Mid to late February is when you start seeing the lawn and garden stuff. That's when you start seeing all the stuff that the Lowe's and Home Depots and the Menards all stock up on. Little Wine Coach, Happy New Year. And I don't know. That's it. That's where my deepness the other night about challenges came from. Yeah. Oh, we're talking about low boards. So we'll see what January brings, Provost. I don't think it's going to be as bad as 2016, but I think it'll definitely be better than that, but it won't be as good as 2018 was in January. Going to be somewhere in the middle. And I saw CPAP in here saying that he doesn't think that some owner-operators are going to make it. We shall see. I think the name of the game is to keep moving, keep your costs low, and keep persevering. And when the money gets good, keep running. Don't take time off during that time. That way, when the rates get really bad, you can take your time off because you've made up your money. But all of us, with the exception of 1 or 2 people, have changed our running styles here at Like Trucking to adapt and overcome the challenges we are facing when it comes to rates and everything. and we support each other, we help each other out, and you know, as Gear Grabber and Jeff said, we got a good group of guys, so we all help each other out. Keep on trucking at a profit. Shot off a case of 45 rounds from a 1911. It was a great night. Next gen, I wish I could do that. I have yet to shoot a gun. I own 3, but I've never shot one. So I gotta take care of that. My goal for 2019 is to get my CCW. What does Jeff have to say there, Snowlord? As far as the rates this year, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, next gen, I bet you that was fun. I saw some fireworks last night there in Hillsboro. Kind of freaked me out because, you know, when you sit at a truck stop on the 4th of July or New Year's Eve, you hear the fireworks, but you don't see them. And that's what happened. I finally saw them up in front of me. Now, last year, somewhere in Saginaw, Michigan, probably downtown, somebody shot a bullet up in the air, and it came down through the roof of my trailer. That happened last year, right before I bought this trailer. So you gotta love that. So I hope people aren't shooting in town. You know, this ain't no St. Louis, you know what I mean? But if you guys don't have any other questions and all that, we will end this live feed. Rates ought to pick up some now that the holidays are over. Everyone's going to come back from their downtime and wanting the shipments in and out. I think that'll make rates go down, Screaming Demon. Right now, capacity is low because, or capacity is, yeah, low because, look at the truck stops. Nobody's out here, right? So tomorrow, that low board is going to light up. You gotta love bright headlights. Tomorrow, between the hours of 7 and 12, those low boards are going to be almost a nightmare. Hey Nathan, what's up? That was probably just a random Thursday night drunk. Who was a Thursday night drunk? What's up, Blue Shoe? TJ? I saw a really bad wreck in Dallas, though. It was on the southbound side. Looked like an F-150 had flipped over a few times. Didn't look good. But other than that, it's been an easy day of trucking. We had some good discussions on Zello, good discussions on the phone. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. I have a huge list of goals that I want to accomplish this year. And you know, we'll see what this year brings. That's possible, but some guys aren't going to be back at trucking right yet. Some guys stay at hopes of making loads in, right? Oh, you're probably right, Harold. Some random drunk. Yeah, that was crazy. I go to pick up my trailer, and I walked in, and the sales guy who, you know, I've been on the phone with many times, and, you know, the one that made the sale, he approaches me with it was a 45 caliber. I'm like, what's that? He's like, 45 caliber. I'm like, why are you showing that to me? Oh, this was in your trailer. But don't worry, we sealed it up. Made sure it was good. Juan Avalos, what's up? You missed everything. How are you cooking the cabbage? I've got one of them lunchbox cookers. It's a little oven, and I just threw it in the pan with the beans. I put the bacon on top, and there's my meal. Appreciate it, Juan. Everybody send Snorlord some large shirts. He will need them in 2019. I appreciate it, little Viking coach. I want to be down to 225 by the end of the year. I want to be down to 250 by Matt's. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. And next time I get home, I will share my blood work that I had done. So let's just say it's positive. My first job was at a hardware sporting goods store, and people would come in asking for the cheapest ammo we had. We knew what they were going to use it for, but we could not sell it. We couldn't not sell it to them. Yep. Adding some walking. That's true. Like, I've been doing pretty good about that. Now that it doesn't hurt to walk, I've been doing more walking. Screaming name. And I want to do a formal apology to little Viking coach for the clickbait. I didn't realize how clickbaity my last live feed was, and I upset one of my followers. Thought I was quitting YouTube, and I've never threatened that. Yeah, just staying away from junk and fast food, right? Did you find it difficult to get $2 plus per mile when a trip is 2+ days long? Simple logic. Yeah, yes and no. My first trip out of the house was 740 miles. It was over $2 a mile. And then the trip coming back from Ohio to Texas was over $2, was a little less, but what it did is it averaged all miles, not all miles, but averaged loaded miles was $2. The load coming out of Texas, I'm not even gonna tell you what I got for that. Let's just say it wasn't no $2. It's like they want to pay less per mile for more miles, which makes no sense to me. Simple logic. What's going on there is your running costs, actually, your running cost per mile goes down when you run more miles. So think about this. If you run only 1,000 miles a week, your costs are going to be a lot higher per mile because there's less miles to share those costs. Does that make sense? So what usually happens is you gross less, but you should net more. That doesn't always happen that way, but that's why, you know, in long haul you can do, if you're getting $2 a mile at 600 miles a day, that's $1,200 a day. Whereas if you're running short haul, like a $300 or 300 mile load, and it takes you all day, like you pick it up at 7, drive the 300 miles, and then you don't deliver till 10 a.m. the next day, well, you need to be compensated for a daily rate. You don't just want to make $600 for that load. You want that to be $1,200 as well. So that's why long haul doesn't pay as much per mile than as short haul. So I'm going on a leap of faith this year. Next Monday I'm flying to Reno, picking up a 2016 FL and a 2016 Dryman for purchase. Truck has 200K and it has an auto transmission. Cool. Yeah, it's been windy today. For example, Richmond, Virginia to Atlanta, I can get 900 to 1100 for that load. Got to get some sleep. Talk to you on Zelda tomorrow. Love you, brother. Night, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year there, Salty. It's always a struggle with the numbers with loads. I think guys see how much the load pays, but they forget how much it's going to take to deliver. Know the numbers before you grab a load. Richmond to Johnstown, New York, 1250 1400. All right, so usually your biggest expense on the long haul is going to be fuel, of course. So I don't know, it just depends how you have it set up. I try to do a mixture of short and long haul. And you know, in the spot market, 1 minute short haul works and the next minute long haul is better. It just depends on what the market's doing. And for example, there was a week in December that Harold helped me book my loads, and I made really good revenue doing the short haul. I had a new load a day. But I had to be on top of the load boards, you know, it had to be top of the schedule. There was hardly any downtime. You kind of have to have your ducks in a row. And then one of us had, you know, I won't say who it was, but one of the light trucking guys had a 3 loads booked for the weekend, and 2 of them canceled, 1 or 2 of them canceled, and he had to sit. So weekends are harder to deal with the short haul, unless you're in the right area. So what I try to do is do the shorties during the week and long for the weekend, and that's kind of what I did. I picked up a load Friday out of Ohio, and it took me all the way to Monday. And then I knew that a lot of places wouldn't take delivery today. So I grabbed a load that was 650 miles, and you know, I had plenty of time on it, and that carried me through over New Year's. You know, and I knew that if I hadn't booked something yesterday, more likely I was going to be sitting until tomorrow if I didn't find anything. So I try to do a combination of short and long. That's how I did it at Schneider, and that's kind of how I did at Landstar too. You do the combination, so you get the miles in and you get the revenue. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. But some weeks the short haul game out of Missouri is really good, and other weeks it's not. The long haul does better. And, you know, and that's it. Here's the thing, guys. The only thing that's constant in trucking is that it's always changing. And that's it. So you can do all this studying the load boards and everything, you know, looking at the 15 and 90-day averages and you know, but it's always going to change, you know, and it's you know, that's why you got to be versatile. That's why you got to be flexible. That's why you got to, like, you can't pigeonhole yourself into one area or one style, or, you know, warehouse to warehouse. You know, there's you got to push the envelope of comfort, you know, because here's what you have to consider. Provost talked about in his video. There's a lot of owner operators that aren't going to make it this year. Okay, what sets you apart from the guys that aren't going to make it? What is that? And if you don't have an answer for that, then you might want to try to find that answer. If you refuse to do this, refuse to do that, if you aren't willing to do this, you don't want to do that, well, the guys that are willing to do that, they're going to make more money than you. They're going to be more valuable to you. And so you have to push the envelope. Lanes do matter. And, you know, and Harold answered Simple Logic's question. You know, it just if you take a load from Ohio to Dallas, it's going to pay above $2 a mile. But if you take a load from Dallas to Ohio, the same amount of miles, same destination, it's going to pay considerably less. That's why you can take 1,000 miles into Florida and get $3 a mile, but you're only going to grab $1 coming out if you don't deadhead. That's just the name of the game. And what that is there are more trucks. You got to look at the load ratios. So if you see a state, and if you're on the DAP board, it's on the right hand side, the load ratios. So if you see a state that say has 1,000 loads going in but only 300 coming out, which is Florida usually, then the brokers know that, and so they're going to utilize that leverage. It's all about leverage. If there's more trucks than loads, the broker's got the leverage. If there's more loads than trucks, we have the leverage. And that's what it's all about, whether you're playing short game or long game. What's up, Gear Grabber? Are Texas loads cheap? Anyone know why? Simple logic, because there's a lot of carriers in Texas. Texas is a very big state, and while it has its fair share of production, it's also a consumer state. So there's just an overabundance of trucks in Texas. If you need a load moved out of Texas, it is no problem finding a truck. There are a lot of carriers in that state, and so that's why it's the load ratio. You know, I'd be curious to see what the Texas load ratios are. Supply and demand, right, Kevin? And then a lot, you know, not to mention lots of loads coming from Mexico. Screaming Demon. You know what's interesting, Demon, is that one of the best paying loads I had at Landstar actually came out of Laredo. But it went up all the way up to Boise, Idaho. It paid really good, but it was the product that it was. It was refrigeration units that was going into a new Walmart. And the last load I took for Landstar, the loads coming out of Laredo were paying $1.30, $1.40 a mile. That was back in 2016 when I think the national average was like $1.70 in the spot market. You know, it also depends on your carrier. Schneider has a lot of contract freight that pays well inside of Texas, but coming out of Texas, you take a hit. But it was a lot easier to deal with Texas with Schneider than it is in the spot market. Mainly because of the drop and hook, and because a lot of loads with Schneider went back to Missouri out of this area. But yeah, it's all about supply and demand, you know. And like when one state is hot 1 week, what does everybody do? They book loads and they flock to that state, right? Well, that changes the capacity in that state. Next thing you know, it's a soft state. But yeah, Texas loads, Simply Logic, tend to be cheap unless you're running in intrastate, like Texas to Texas. And since we don't have Texas intrastate authority, we don't run those loads. Schneider, that was easy. You know, what a lot of guys did at Schneider is they would make their money going into Texas, they'd make their money bouncing around Texas, but then they take their hit out going home, and that's kind of how it worked. Pale Rider, what's up? You know, and that's why rates are low in January, because everybody's looking for a load and nobody's shipping anything. A lot of companies are doing their inventory. They're setting up new contracts with other carriers. But yeah, a lot of inventory goes on. So when there's inventory, nobody's making anything, no one's shipping anything. Now the regular stuff like canned goods and toiletries and stuff like that still ship, but a lot of that stuff is under contract freight. What Midwest states are the best for continual good rates? Ohio, Illinois, sometimes Indiana. Those are your main ones. I don't really know the Minnesota or Wisconsin markets because I don't go up there too often. But Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, it's easy to do the short game, and the rates are usually better. And those states tend to have even number of loads going in and out. It's not good to be a creature of habit in the spot market, right, Provost? And that's what I was doing, you know. I was becoming a creature of habit, and I was, you know, I was not. It was gonna not end well. Little White Coach says he's not talking to Pale Rider because he said he's getting rid of the theme song. Well, Little White Coach, I think maybe the Pale Rider theme song has run its course. You know, if he wants to do a new theme song, I have no problem with that. You're welcome, Simple Logic. Are we congratulating Thomas? Oh, Asian My Show, I saw you. Hey, okay, so go through the comments. Asian My Show. He had a really good video. It's called Why He Did Not Take $10,000 Load, right? Or job, not load, job. Even though he's talking about bed bugging, it kind of applies to general freight as well. You have to look at what your cost for that load's going to be. You know, Provost, he did a video and he talked about a guy that underbid him, and he, you know, and that person got that load for $1.13 a mile, which the tolls alone, if he went down a certain road, was going to be like $300 in and of itself. So you had the tolls, you had the fuel, and you know, it's not about the gross. Sometimes it's always about the net. You know, Little White Coach just made that joke about me, but it's true. I say that a lot, and that's the reality of it. You know, an Asian My Show had a really good video about that. Oh, Grandpa, okay, yeah. I want permission to use Pale Rider song if he kills it. Well, that's up to Pale Rider. He owns it. I'm just a creator. I don't own the rights to it. So that's up to Pale Rider. Pale Rider, what say you? Where are we at here? We're at 39 minutes. We'll go a little bit more if you guys want to chat some more. Guys, listen to this. I'm not an expert. You know, there's a lot of people that run low boards better than I do. There's a lot of people that run their businesses better than I do. I don't see myself as being an expert. I just give you guys my experience of what I've dealt with. Bottom line is, it's a supply and demand world. Okay, that's what we deal with. And if there's no demand, then the supply, there's no call for it, and that's when rates go down. When rates were sky high for us, the shippers figured out how to lower their costs. They figured out a system to lower their costs, and a lot of the mega carriers ate up a lot of that spot market high rates by putting contracts on them. Yeti has talked about that, and I saw it firsthand at Schneider. Schneider rates got better, as the spot market rates got worse. When the rates are at their lowest, that's when you don't want to run as much, and when the rates are at their highest, that's when you want to run the most. A lot of people do the opposite. They make their money easily when the rates are good, so they don't work as hard. And then when rates get really bad, then now they're having to work harder. It should be the other way around. It's taken me 4 years to learn that myself. And come June, I'll be at my 5th year as being an owner-operator. It doesn't seem like I still feel like I'm in my first year. But I've learned a lot, but there's still a lot to learn. Captain Jack. I'm sure a little bike coach, you can pay Pale Rider and tacos for that song. I'm going to use it for my new media company, Viking Rhino Productions. I don't know what's going on with the whole Key Group Media. I know Truck and Review Channel did a video on it, and I haven't watched it. I haven't watched Jay Cannell's video yet. Now, when I parked, I did watch Cannell's video on the 2 YouTubers that were blasted drunk. That was very, very entertaining and a little bit too revealing. I heard Pale Rider is Jay Cannell's first media client, and Cannell told him to kill the song. Might be. I think people have a love-hate relationship with that song. On one hand, they thought it was cool the first 100 times, but now they're like, okay, next. And if you don't like Pale Rider's theme song, I don't take offense to that. So, anyways, guys, I won't comment on that because who am I to judge, right? I know back in the Periscope days, I might have had a couple of beers at home and did some Periscopes. But I've quit drinking so completely. And I feel great. Not that I was a heavy drinker or anything, but you know, I made a promise to my daughter that I wouldn't drink anymore, and so I've kept it. So. I know Blue Shoe. I know TJ. I know you're not judging. It was amazing that they didn't get arrested. Amazing. And I think that was because the troopers had bigger fish to fry. It was New Year's Eve. So, but for the rest of us, it was entertaining. And that's it. That's all I'll say about that. And I don't follow those 2 YouTubers generally. I didn't really know that that had happened until Daniel Adami mentioned it, and then I saw Jay Cannell's video posting. And I was thankful for that because I didn't have to watch the whole thing. I just watched what Jay Cannell had posted. But anyways, it's none of my business really. Like I said, it was entertaining, and isn't that what YouTube's for? Entertainment and information. Sometimes I fall under one and not the other. It was all entertaining. Maybe if I'm bored, I'll take a look at what's going on. Because I don't think I'm going to watch any football tonight. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. I got not Netflix. I do have Netflix, but I got satellite TV on my tablet. Anyways, guys, I hope that you had a good New Year's Eve last night. And if you're out here running, enjoy it. I'm pretty sure it might be like this until Friday, or at least till Monday. And then things will be back to normal. Hopefully the rates won't dip down too much. But if they do, just keep your head up and keep your costs low and make better decisions and get outside of your comfort zone. But I want to wish everybody Happy New Year. And let's take 2019 and kick its ass. Okay? So you guys take it easy. And we'll talk later. See ya.